Launch Octopus!
Mega Man, Maverick Hunter X.
Welcome back to more Let's Play Mega Man Maverick Hunter X, or Irregular Hunter X, if you played the Japanese version of this game, or are more familiar with the Japanese terminology for Mega Man stuff. Alright, well, last time I went on and on about the contact damage and how that was the one big thing about this game that I don't like, so let's talk about some stuff that I do like about this game. This is a beautiful looking game for the PSP, for 2006. This is a wonderful game. By the way, I did confirm in between videos, the voice cast here that we have for Maverick Hunter X is the same voice cast as for Mega Man X8, which released in 2004, and this, and Mega Man Powered Up, released in 2006. So, that's fun. That's good. Again, these voice actors really are the iconic voices for all the characters that they voice. I mean, truly. Here I'm just showing off the other things that this robotic mechanoloid anglerfish thing can do. It's a little bit different from the SNES version, but it's not radically different. It also has this nice little charge attack here, just like in the SNES version. So there you go. Very vulnerable to electric sparks, so I recommend you use that against it instead of a rolling shield like in the original, or storm tornado like in the original. But rolling shield was a little bit better for that in the original. In this case, I would recommend just using electric spark for it in Maverick Hunter X. Now, these fish are just as annoying as they were in the original X. They can suck you in. They don't really do damage. They just waste your time. It's not fun. So, I mean, exactly just like in Mega Man X. A lot of things about Maverick Hunter X are faithful recreations from the original X, but as stated in the beginning of the video and as stated in the beginning of the game, this is based off Mega Man X and not just a one-for-one remake of Mega Man X. Again, this is a reimagining of the original Mega Man X and of the continuity of the X series, which is why it's all a little bit different. Speaking of the continuity, we have still, in the year 2024, not gotten an answer of what happens in between the end of the classic era Mega Man series and the beginning of the X series. We have some hints. We're going to be finding out some more stuff later in the series, but of course, if you've watched my what was it? The Mega Man, the second Mega Man Power Fighters game, right? The second Mega Man arcade style fighting game. We already know Dr. Wily is the creator of Zero, and we know that Bass was aware that Dr. Wily was creating Zero. We never really get confirmation that original Rock, classic Mega Man, was aware that Dr. Light had created X for the future. We also never really get the full answer to this, but when it comes to Reploids, X is the father of all Reploids, but he himself is not really a Reploid. I mean, he is Dr. Light's final creation, and then Dr. Kane designs Reploids based off X's design. I don't know, I'm just going off on a tangent here, thinking about the continuity of this and how everything works. And X is basically true full AI in a way that the Robot Masters in the classic series and original Mega Man just were not. By the way, this thing, it's much easier to fight when you're on a wall in hard mode. It's just a lot more difficult to line up a shot, and because of the order that we're going in Maverick Hunter X, you're just you're not going to have Storm Tornado at this point, and you can't use Fire Wave because obviously we're under the sea, so we can't do that. So it's just safer to avoid contact damage by just hanging on the wall, because that thing never gets close to you to hurt you. It just swims around. It's kind of useless, as I mentioned in the original X. Anyway, continuity stuff. Just some random thoughts I had. That X is like the one true AI, and everybody else are just copies of X to some degree. And Zero is also technically not a Reploid in the way that everybody else is, except for X, because X and Zero were created prior to the creation of the Reploid race. I don't know. These are just things that I like to think about when I start thinking about the X series in depth. But we have multiple games to really get into that, and it's going to become a much more major focal point for later titles such as Mega Man X4 and X5. those kinds of details, like who created Zero, and you know, the uniqueness of X and Zero, are going to become much more relevant at that point. For now, we're fighting this this other fish thing. We just killed it. You know, same thing as the first one, except it goes into the ground. Only way it hurts you is through contact. Every other way is just, you know, whatever. Here we are at the end of the stage now for Launch Octopus. Just going to be running back and forth here to try to get my health up again. Contact damage is terrible in Maverick Hunter X. There's just no way around it, so I want to make sure I go in with as much health as possible. Also, the fact that Launch Octopus is still a War of Attrition boss, so I want to make sure I go in with as much of a with as much help as I possibly can. So here we go. Launch Octopus.
Your antics stop here, Launch Octopus.
I only take orders from Sigma. There's no way I'll let you boss me around.
Face it, you've got Maverick.
Maverick? How dare you call my artistic battle style by that name?
Here we go.
Alright, Launch Octopus is exactly the same as he was in original Mega Man X. I actually don't think he has any new moves at all in this as compared to the original Mega Man X game. I think he is one of the only Mavericks in this game. I think him and Boomer Koanga are the only two Mavericks in this game that don't have new attacks added to them, like in the way that Armored Armadillo or Spark Mandrill or Flame Mammoth or all the others have new attacks. He's got new animations for his attacks, but he doesn't have new attacks in general. So basically the exact same fight. Rolling Shield still is weakness, so if you have it, use it and take him out as soon as possible.
The explosion is beautiful. Mission accomplished. Homing torpedo!
Kawanger.
He's actually, Launch Octopus, I should say, is a lot less of a War of Attrition boss as compared to the original, because you can actually get him in a stun animation and a sort of stun lock with the Rolling Shield if you time it right. So, you know, if you time it right, you can make Launch Octopus way easier than he was in the original. So that's, you know, at least one boss that's actually easier here than they were in the original game. Here we are in Boomerang Kawanger's stage. Good stuff, good music. Maverick Hunter X has a great soundtrack. It does a great job of bringing all of the original SNES tunes to modern day sensibilities. I mean, obviously, most people are going to be partial to the SNES soundtrack. I'm also partial to the SNES soundtrack, but this is a pretty good soundtrack in of itself and shouldn't be discounted just because it's not exactly the same as the SNES version. Elevator section here. They replaced the spikes on the sides with electricity to represent that. As we'll see in later videos, the spikes in Boomer Kawanger's elevator in the original SNES version didn't actually kill you. The spikes on the platforms can kill you, but the spikes on the side of Boomer Kawanger's elevator don't actually kill you. So here they're just making that more clear by replacing those spikes entirely with electricity and keeping the spikes on the platforms still spikes, just to make clear what can kill you in one hit and what can't kill you in one hit. So that's nice. It's a nice little attention to detail, nice little visual thing that they added for this. For this section of Boomerang Kawanger stage, I recommend you use Launch Octopus entirely. In the original version, I just used Storm Tornado, because again, Storm Tornado was like the best weapon in the original version. But for this particular section here, is a good showcase for Launch Octopus's homing torpedo. So yeah, that's good stuff. Nope, caught myself just listening to the music. Gotta stop doing that. But again, soundtrack for Maverick Hunter X is really, it's just really good. And just like with Mega Man Powered Up, I do wish that there had been more Maverick Hunter X remake games, and they just expanded out this remake continuity. That hard tank, I'm not gonna even bother trying to get with the arm parts slash Chill Penguin weapon. First of all, I don't have the arm parts yet, so I can't actually try to do that yet. But even if I did, I wouldn't have tried to go for it because the Chill Penguin sled charge ability thing is a little bit different in Maverick Hunter X than it is in the original X, so I can't actually I can't actually make that jump anymore with the sled like I could in original X. So I have to use Boomerang Kowanger for that particular hard tank. So we'll be getting it after this. So here's Boomerang Kowanger.
If you've made it all the way up here, you must not be an ordinary B-class hunter.
Kowanger, I don't want to fight an old friend like you.
You don't want to fight? Well, isn't this interesting? You're a Maverick hunter, and Maverick hunters are Reploids designed for fighting.
So I'll have to fight you no matter what, huh?
Of course. A chance for a fight this fun doesn't come along every day.
Let's get this party started.
Boomerang Kowanger is another example of a Maverick who has not dramatically changed all that much from the original game to this. He still teleports around. He throws his boomerang. He can charge at you to grab you with his boomerang horns and kind of throw you up in the ceiling like he could in the original. And that's about it. He doesn't add any new abilities to his repertoire, as it were. He has what he had before, which, you know, not a bad thing, but it is kind of weird that some of the Mavericks in this game have new things going for them, like the Blue Flame from Flame Mammoth, or like the Drill from Spark Mandrill, and some Mavericks, like Launch Octopus, like Boomerang Kowanger, just don't have new things going for them at all, and are basically one-for-one recreations of what they were originally. He's more aggressive with his boomerang here, but he's not, you know, not that big of a threat here. Again, contact damage is the worst thing. If he grabs you by the horns, that's pretty devastating too, but the contact damage is the worst thing that could happen. So yeah, that's it.
So strong.
Mission accomplished.
All right, immediately after completing Boomerang Kowanger's stage, we're going to do some revisits. First up, Spark Mandrill. We're going to go ahead and collect both of the items here that we couldn't before, because now we have Boomerang Kowanger. Now we have the Boomerang ability, which, you know, is super necessary for not just the sub tank as it was in the original, but also for the hard tank. As we saw in the first video, the platform where the hard tank was originally in the original version of Spark Mandrill stage is now just they just made it longer, so now you can't just now you can't do the dash thing anymore. So here we go, just speeding along till we get there. The X series is a series that, well, I mean, I've gone on about how I love it, but it has its highs and it has its lows, as opposed to the classic series, which was very, you know, overall quite consistent with its quality from game to game and story to story, obviously because there was just a lot less story going on in the classic era. So of course it was going to be more consistent. But there was also just the fact that, you know, when it comes to X compared to the classic series, they really, by the way, I'm going back to a Boomerang Kowanger stage here so I can get the hard tank there at the end. They really run the gambit of the quality of storytelling and voice acting in throughout the entire X series. I mean, sometimes you get some really great stuff like here, and sometimes you're going to get Mega Man X4, which is just, you know, not so amazing. Basically, what I'm saying is that beware going into the X series that, some of this is going to be really, really great. Some top tier Capcom stuff here, some top tier Mega Man stuff here. And then, there's also going to be some things that we're going to have to slog through in the future that are just not going to be good in any way, shape, or form. I mean, there's already plenty of things I'm thinking of that it's not going to be great. The voice acting from 4, all of 6, all of 7, those are going to be slogs to get through. So as we enter the Mega Man X series, get ready for a topsy-turvy roller coaster where, we're going to be going back and forth on the quality scale here. We start off quite high with Mega Man X, but that quality is not going to be fully sustained moving forward. Anyway, talking about the stage itself here. Hard tank, the same place, same requirements. Have to beat Launch Octopus to get the water there, so that you can make the dash. Helmet is recommended, so you can get rid of the rocks easier. Foot parts are obviously required, and here you need the foot parts to fight this auto-looking mini boss in order to get the Dr. Light capsule that is still here, but is going to be of a different upgrade as opposed to the original. This mini boss has one new attack, which is that attack, that little punching thing that he does. That's his only new thing. Everything else is exactly the same. Still weak to Boomerang Cutter.
The arm parts await you here. Enter the capsule and equip them to your arm, and your charge shot becomes even more powerful. It is a very dangerous power to possess, but I trust that you will use it for good.
As Dr. Light said, no longer is the armor from the original X available here. Now instead we have the arm parts available here. So now we can do our supercharge. So not only can we supercharge our X Buster to the purple wave thing that we had in the original game, as we'll see right there. It takes quite a bit, but it does happen. We can also charge up all of our special weapons, which is great. Got to give it a second. That's one thing I'm not a big fan of the arm parts in this version, is that the charge takes quite a while. There's the fire wave. Here we have the electric spark thing, which is going to be that wall thing, as we saw in the original. Actually, no, it's not going to be the wall thing. I told a lie. They changed it to an area of effect to an area of effect electricity thing. The boomerangs are the same. The shotgun ice is still almost the same. It doesn't look like Chill Penguin anymore, and now has less detail. It's just a big slab of ice, and it's much more difficult to pull off the to pull off jumps with that sled, which is why you probably want to go after the hard tank and boomerang Kawenger stage with the boomerang weapon, as opposed to trying your luck with the arm parts / Chill Penguin's weapon. Rolling shield is still a shield. It's not that great of a shield, but I mean, Also here I'm taking the time to show off that the sled thing, the sled thing that I've been talking about a little bit now, you can't really do it anymore. I mean, you can do it if you're good enough, but I'm not good enough, and I'm going to put my foot down. The safer way of getting this particular hard tank is just with the boomerang weapon and not with the sled thing anymore. So there you go. If you have the helmet, the falling rocks still can't hurt you here, so that's a nice little attention to detail that's kept from the original Mega Man X. Rolling shield thing is still not amazing. When it comes down to it, the Sting Chameleon invincibility frames that we get for beating Sting Chameleon is still better than the rolling shield actual shield that we get from Armored Armadillo. So these are new enemies. These are woodpeckers on the robotic treeborgs throwing out the little caterpillars at you. That's new. Again, Fire Wave is phenomenal. It just cuts through. It cuts through shields of Joe enemies super easy. Ride Armor is still here. Sting Chameleon is basically a nice faithful recreation of the original Sting Chameleon stage, When it comes to bosses, they took the liberty of redesigning quite a few things. But when it comes to the main Maverick stages and the intro stage, they really just kept it. They really kept it faithful to what it originally was. And I say the original Maverick stages. I say the Maverick stages and the intro stage. By the way, you can no longer get back in this Ride Armor like you could in the original game anymore if you get off for that health. So that's that's something. But I say that the Maverick stages and the intro stage are pretty unchanged, because when we get to the Sigma Palace, we'll be seeing some pretty significant changes in there. But that won't be until the next video. So for now, let's go ahead and confront Sting Chameleon. Or actually, let's not confront Sting Chameleon yet, because I do want to show off what the stage looks like pre-launch Octopus. Again, This is a gimmick that they kept from the classic Mega Man X series, from the actual original Mega Man X series. This, trend continues with Maverick Hunter X. If you enter Sting Chameleon before defeating Launch Octopus, the water is not here, which doesn't change much about the stage overall, except for the major difference that you can no longer get the heart tank in the bottom area here, because you won't be able to make the jump. Even if you have the foot parts, even if you have the helmet, you won't be able to make that jump anymore. So yeah, let's go ahead and take on Sting Chameleon.
Poor little X. Everyone's betrayed you.
Sting Chameleon! So Sigma's even managed to pull you into his scheme!
That's Master Sigma to you, X. He'll be king when the new world is born. Treat him with respect.
I don't want to live in a world with him in charge!
I'm ready!
Alright, Sting Chameleon has... Is he really that? He's not really that different. He's also a pretty faithful recreation. He can still hang from the ceiling and toss down spikes. He can still hit you with his tongue from the wall. He still has his own version of the chameleon sting, and he can still hit you with the with his tongue when he's standing on the ground. He does a little jump before that, but he can still. But in spirit, it's still essentially the exact same boss as it was in the original SNES version. They didn't really make any major changes to Sting Chameleon either. He is yet another boss who doesn't have any major changes aside from how he does that ground-based tongue attack there. That is the only real change between this version and the SNES version.
Mission accomplished. Chameleon Sting!
When you defeat the mini-boss of Sting Chameleon's stage, it is gone forever. It does not ever reappear again. Whereas in the original Mega Man X, if you defeated the mini-boss and got the armor part, you can still come back here and fight the mini-boss anytime you want. It's still going to show up. It's just, not going to be... it's just not... You're not going to get another Duct-like capsule for beating it. It's just there if you want the challenge for whatever reason. But it's completely gone after you beat it the one time in Maverick Hunter X. That is one notable change I just wanted to put out there for you in regards to Hunter X versus regular X.
Storm Eagle.
And now at last, our final Maverick, who was originally our second Maverick in the original game, it's Storm Eagle. We don't go after Storm Eagle last because he's difficult. We just go after him. By the way, that was a weird thing right there with that little helicopter machine there, the little helicopter mechanoid, how it just kind of clipped through the platform there. Anyway, we don't go after Storm Eagle last because he's difficult. We go after him because the contact damage problem is still obscene, and Storm Eagle does have ways of doing contact damage to you, which is really bad. We also go after him last because, well, yeah, it's for that reason exclusively. It's the contact damage thing that is a major problem. Honestly, I would recommend if you're playing Maverick Hunter X, if you're playing this game on hard mode, you want to probably go after Storm Eagle early, because it doesn't, there aren't that many requirements for, by the way, these canisters here that could originally be destroyed with anything in the original Mega Man X. I demonstrated earlier that those can only be destroyed now with the Fire Wave. You can't use, you can't use any weapon you want to destroy those anymore. You probably want to go after Storm Eagle pretty early in your own playthroughs of Maverick Hunter X, honestly, because Storm Eagle himself is not that bad of a boss. Even without his weakness in this version of the game, he's still not that bad of a boss. And most notably, the armor part is hidden in this stage now. It's no longer the helmet that's here. Obviously, we've gotten the helmet already. It is the armor part that's hidden here. I'm showing off the top of this tower here at the airport. I didn't show it off in the original SNES X, but there's also nothing at the top of the tower in the original SNES X version of the game, in case you were wondering. Anyway, you probably want to go after Storm Eagle a lot earlier than I do, because specifically the armor part is hidden here. So I would recommend I would recommend coming here pretty early, so that you can get it. All you need to get it is the the helmet. So I would recommend really that you go after Flame Mammoth first, then Chill Penguin, so that you can have both the foot parts and the helmet, then revisit Flame Mammoth to get your first sub tank, and to continue your collection of heart tanks, and then come here to Storm Eagle. You're not going to have the weakness for Storm Eagle, but Storm Tornado is super useful alongside Fire Wave, as we'll get into in the third episode. And the sheer fact that the armor parts are here that still have the same effect as they do in the original Mega Man X, wherein they reduce damage by half, is a real lifesaver, especially against bosses like Spark Mandrill and Armored Armadillo, who just do insane, stupid amounts of contact damage. And there's still insane, stupid amounts of contact damage with that armor on. It's just a little bit more manageable if you actually have the armor that you can get here from Storm Eagle's stage. So honestly, I went after this in my own order, but really you probably want to go after Storm Eagle a little earlier than I did. As soon as you have access to this, you want to go after him.
Inside this capsule are the body parts. Enter the capsule and equip them, and any damage you incur will be halved. It saddens me to think that the war has begun, but I know that you can bring it to a peaceful conclusion, X.
And so, as Dr. Light says, it's time to reduce our damage at last, at long last. The unfairness of the contact damage is now not really going to be an issue anymore, because we have all of the stuff now. So we have, plenty of health. We can now take half damage. There's nothing up here. Plenty of health. We take half damage. Now is the time when the game becomes not easy, but manageable. So yeah, I really would recommend you. Personally, you go after Storm Eagle earlier than I did. Or not. Maybe you want the challenge. Who am I to tell you how to play this game? Here we are at the end. Getting into Storm Eagle's fight's a little bit different than it was in the in the SNES version. We just climb right onto the ship right now, and that's it. That's time for Storm Eagle. So here we go. Cutscene.
So it begins.
Storm Eagle? Don't tell me that even you've gone Maverick. Answer me, Storm Eagle. You're not the type of Reploid to do something like this.
Forgive me, X. I must defeat you. Step into battle.
All right, Storm Eagle is not that radically different from how he was in the original game. He does have a couple of changes, though. So his Storm Tornado attack is still exactly the same as it was before. No changes there at all. If you have the foot parts, super easy to deal with that. And this attack is different. No longer is he just pushing you with his wings. He also shoots out feathers that can explode once they make contact with the ground. So that is one of the two major changes to Storm Eagle's whole shtick here. Is that is what he does when he's flapping his wings real hard. He still has this dive attack thing. It's actually easier to predict and deal with, but he has this variation of the dive where he comes in either from the left or the right side of the screen across the ground. That can throw you off. So those are the two major differences of Storm Eagle. He can also rapid fire his eggs if he wants to. That's a thing that he does in the original game as well sometimes. Very rarely though, but he can do it sometimes where he rapid fires his eggs. All right.
Oh!
Mission accomplished.
Incoming transmission. It's 0.
Get this info to X. I've discovered Sigma's base. I'm sending the coordinates now.
We've located you, Zero. I'm on my way.
Okay, but listen, this place is more secure than I thought. Let's split up their forces. Find another route in.
Last thing to get into, now that we have beaten everybody and we have unlocked the Sigma Palace, it is time for the Hadouken, because that's still in this game. I didn't mention the original Mega Man X. It's in the description that you can only use the Hadouken when you have full HP. So yeah, I'm just mentioning that now. Anyway, it's still here in Armored Armadillo stage. There is a different requirement to getting it this time, though. Not only do you need to have all of the Dr. Light capsules, all the hard tanks, all the sub-tanks, you need to beat this stage without taking damage. You need to start the stage and get to where the capsule is without losing any health. If you do that, the capsule will be there. If you take damage at any point between the beginning and where the capsule is, the capsule will disappear. So have a good run. I make sure you have Sting Chameleon's weapon at this point. You don't actually need all the Maverick weapons. You just need to make sure you have all the armor parts, hard tanks, and sub tanks. But you probably have all the Maverick weapons at this point, so make sure you use Sting Chameleon's invincibility, Storm Tornado here at the very end against the birds that charge at you from the left side of the screen, because those can really throw you off in your fireball capsule run of this level. So yeah, you get through it without taking damage, and the capsule will be there with the same superpower. So let's go ahead and see that right now.
Ah, X. So you've made it this far, have you? Enter this capsule, and you will receive an ability that only a few people have been able to master through intense training. Since your soul is nearly human, I suspect you can master it. X, feel the power flowing in you. Learn to throw fireballs.
Works just as it did in the original Mega Man X. It still does a bunch of damage, still kills anything in one hit, including the final boss. We're not going to be using it outside of this to show it off. It works exactly as it does in Street Fighter. You can only use it when you have full health. I didn't mention that in the original X, but that's true. You can only use it when you have full health. I'm not good at using it because I'm not really good at fighting games like Street Fighter, but that's just the way it is. All right, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Bye-bye.
My heart sings for